I'm gonna be honest. I think out of like the 4 games that were in that list, I think I was really lucky with like the random number generator. And it gave me like Grandma's Garden, because I think Grandma's Garden out of all of this is the best one. So after like showering, and I have a gacha game that I usually do in the evening before I go to bed while my hair dries and that sort of stuff. So you know, so I wasn't getting tired, and I did feel tired, you know, that I was having trouble keeping my eyes open. So I went to bed, brushed my teeth, I laid in bed doing my Duolingo, and I don't know what happened, but like the next morning I woke up without knowing anything, yet. The next morning I woke up, and I, you know, when I wake up I usually text her. Hello? Because to my feeling, this is a walking simulator. I think. Also with like story aspects. Like, but like this. Let's see, your daughter was, that was the last thing on the screen, eh? Oh, hi. Sad uses it or not, that the system was that the blows pulled her apart little by little. Does this game full capture or not? It does. It looks like. Remember how I last week told you of like remember last week how I played what I thought was a mini game thing called you know, what I thought was like one game like Dread Zone with like multiple games inside it. Like, where's my display capture shot? Over there. I'll put my display capture over there. You know, this thing. And from there we played last week's Grandma's Garden, and there were 3 other games. I almost forgot. I almost forgot that I promised to play the other games. So, yeah, this will be technically 3 games from the same developer, from the same itch.io page that I will link down. That will be linked at the top of the video description. Each game that I will go over will be named also, as you know, as I normally do, during timestamps. So game 1 will be Exclusion Zone, game 2 will be another one, game 3 will be another one. If you wanna see me play the other Haunted collections, like Haunted Cities Volume 2 or something, or Haunted Cities Volume 3, let me know in the comments down below. I will be interested. I will. Is this like... Yeah, there's also a collection of 4 short horror games. So this episode might be a little bit shorter than normal. Might be. Thing. But yeah, welcome back to a new 3 Scary Games. Focus on these 4 things thing. And as you also can see, I'm back with my big belly cam for now. And that sort of stuff. Because I'm not like 99% better. I still cough from time to time. But as you probably can hear about my voice, or have noticed from last week, I can now talk longer. And that sort of stuff, because I did notice that last week, like during the Grandma's Garden, where there was like that I couldn't talk for like very, very long without coughing, and now I can. So I'm like 99% better, but still have like a lingering cough from time to time. So if I cough during this video, I do apologize, but yeah, back with the big belly in a short dress because it's been warm the past 2 weeks, so it was dress weather again, and it feels really, really nice. It sits really, really nice because it's a tight dress, so. Yeah, but welcome to our first game, Exclusion Zone. That starts without an intro, without any start screen, and that sort of stuff. So, yeah. You know the funny thing, actually, I want to talk about? Like, I think it was from Wednesday to Thursday. I usually go to bed on time, huh? And that sort of stuff, usually. Or at least go to bed on time that I fall asleep with, you know, turning everything off. What I normally do is I turn off my laptop after rendering and uploading the video, you know. And I go to bed, I brush my teeth, and I do my Duolingo, and then I go to sleep. You know, I check my social media, and that sort of stuff, and then I go to sleep. Wednesday, was tired from like my integration work. I do have to admit that. after like showering, and I have a gacha game that I usually do in the evening before I go to bed while my hair dries and that sort of stuff. So, so I wasn't getting tired, and I did feel tired, that I was having trouble keeping my eyes open. So I went to bed, brushed my teeth, I laid in bed doing my Duolingo, and I don't know what happened, but like the next morning I woke up without knowing anything yet. The next morning I woke up, and when I wake up I usually text her. Hello? Based on historical roads and architecture of the region, we are confident it was a religious structure of some kind. However, the arrangement and composition are like similar regional structures of the era of territory despite superficial architectural similarity. Previous examination teams have failed to recover any furnishing, artifact, devices, etc. that will expressly describe the henceforth temple purpose. And while local count exclamation of ambient radiation patterns and simply visual observation of the surrounding countryside leave it beyond questioning that the temple was the epicenter of the devastation, will remain entirely ignorant as how there was a disaster came to pass. This remains the chief objective of our examination teams, despite the exclusion zone. Okay. Okay. But yeah, I woke up on Thursday, and I just look at my nightstand, because I usually put my phone at the nightstand. And I was like, where is my phone? Because as I said, normally I put my phone at the nightstand if I sleep and turn the light off. The light was off, so that you know. The light was, my desk light, my night light was off. And I look at the thing and I was like, where is my phone? I look below the nightstand, it's not there. And then I checked the other side of the bed and I see it laying there. And I was like, huh? Why is it laying in my bed? So I checked my phone and Duolingo is still on. And it was like, did I fall asleep? And I must have fallen asleep because my phone was at the left side. Usually I lay left side head before I fall asleep. And such stuff. The swooping nuts are cemented conflicts of the forward shelter area as for something of a mystery to previous examination teams. The shape, positioning, and perfectly enables to gather moisture from the air on. Okay, like balmy day breaks when elimination areas have been rapidly changed as such they were still possible. When a shadow to the shadow reflecting pools set into the floor in order that they keep filled with water. However, they almost artistically asymmetry is not present in any other part of the structure. And such a break in uniformity is a stank contrast to many of the fundamental religious tents of the surrounding area. But plenty it seems ornamental in the illusions that makes no sense to give us what little we know about those who might have occupied this place. One examiner discovered deep channels between the stone at the bottom of the pool which seemed to run downwards from distance, but were too narrow and sorely to be inspected further. They suggest some of a mechanism for gathering, storing portable water, or possibly even a cooling system for subterranean parts of the structure as yet undiscovered. Future examination teams may dispatch with equipment suited for further exploration of these possibilities. You want me to go in there? Yeah, I fell asleep while doing my Duolingo. And that sort of stuff. And I was like really surprised because I don't think I can remember the last time I actually fall asleep because I was so tired. Can you stop doing that? Okay. Look, I know it's like small games, but I'm supposed to read this. Like, I do love, like, I do love that it's like a walking game and that you try to explain things to the people. But I'm gonna tell you, not everybody's gonna read this. And the second thing is, if you do like a light text on a light background, like the middle now, it is really hard to read. I can, like, which temperature, like, such assumptions, but let me try to read this. The central chamber beneath the tower would be all whereabouts accounts. By all accounts, the part of the temple used for communal prayer and administrative gatherings, such as the calls with other religious facilities of the region, all of which feature similar central chamber. Now, for given the doubt raised as to actual purpose of the temple were indicated from mankind, such as assumptions. One detail we find most curious regarding chamber's effect is that not a single of the examination teams dispatched to the exclusion zone has ever recovered any time of talisman or artifact from within. Not so much as a scrap, a clot, or partially of ash. While other areas of the temple show clear signs of damage and dilapidation, the interior chamber is immaculate, almost deliberate. So, scavengers are rarely too delicate in their work, which rules out the possibility of the chamber having simply been picked clean by opportunist locals. Also curious is the fact that despite its location directly beneath extremely radioactive tower, the inner chamber is constantly found to be one of the least irradiated areas of the complex. The stone from which the temple is constructed has no particular inslutive properties, which makes it something of a mystery to us. We continue to look into the possible causes of this anomaly, but the absolute lack of solvable material has proud a severe hindrance to our efforts. Like, I do like that you give like a little warning, but like as I said, there's like too much. I get the world building aspect because, you know, as VTuber you have to also world build around your character. But I'm gonna tell you, not everybody's gonna read that amount of text. And the second thing is like, it is like on a like for everybody, like light text on a light background doesn't really work. So, and yeah, I know how important world building is as VTuber. Because, you know, I'm like building a world where I'm like the pregnant goddess of reproduction, the pregnant goddess of fertility, and such stuff. Okay, here we go again. Note to exclamation teams, extreme caution advised when approaching the tower of the temple complex, ambient radiation at dangerous level. Protected proximity to tower heavily discouraged. Eventually first fatality is extremely likely. Tower being the obvious centerpiece of the temple structure is presumed most of this to be the nucleus of the disaster. Can't you just say it like with the first two sentences and that's it? That you're shooting near the tower? Look how much time. Like, I'm telling you, 5 minutes of this game is me, I think 75% of my this game is reading. The tower being the obvious centerpiece of the temple structure is presumably most of this by the nucleus of the disaster. The continuing extreme of ambient radiation originating from the tower's apex prevent approach, which has stemmed all direct attempts to investigate into the disaster's most probable epicenter. And by extension, the entire temple express a role in the calamity. This is not frustrated us for obvious reasons. It's extremely difficult to piece together the specifics of such a unique event, using only secondary accounts. Archaeological hints and speculation most believe that the answer to everything is waiting there at the tower's highest point. But our curiosities go ever unsatisfied. We have been looking into potential alternative means of inspection, including possible aerial passes, long-range examination from atop the exclusion wall, the training application of Eastern Golfers due to their intelligence, manual dexterity, and immunity most no forms of radiation, and other options failing completely demolition of the tower, as is based with hope of a resultant dispersal of the reduction in ambient radiation, allowing for approach. So I should go into the tower. That is what you tell me. Oh, not again. I just moved 2 meters. From the recovered notes of the examiner started deceased. She was wrong, none of this would have happened. Her sisters wronged her so. She would not have been so lonesome. She wouldn't have called out like she did. She has kept her old worshipper, the ones who know to build her temples and channel her stones. The one they came for where she came from. She wouldn't have to call out across the sea to a place she wasn't known. They only tried to love her and honor her. But our stones are not like her stones, and our air is not like her air. And that's what caused it. That's why it happened. I'm sure of it. She will be veiled once her name is learned. But it was her sisters who broke her up and threw her down. Gods above. It made me want to cry just thinking about it. How long she must have lain there under the sand, hurting and lonely and angry. And not knowing that she did wrong, and now this. So much devastation just because she wanted to be loved and because they wanted to love her. But didn't know how. And now she's alone again. Wherever she is, I don't know how to pay her. I would, if I could, maybe just thinking about how sorry I am for everything she'd gone through will be enough. I'm sorry, sister. You deserve better than... You deserve better. This was not your fault. Okay. Are we done with the reading? I have to go this way? I mean, I have been in the tower. Oh. More to read? Like, I don't know what the end goal of this game is. I also don't know what the end goal of the game is. Like to climb the tower? Oh, here we go again. You know, you can read it yourself. I have read every piece before I would. Be honest with me. If you see this, would you read this? Would you read this if you see this in a video game? Like, prove a point to me. Like, you want to read this, would you? The overlook for mercy is one feature of the temple which can at least be partially explained, whereas not for exclusion wall. No. You see? So. The overlook will provide a grandiose view of the nearby lake, which is a future the temple shares with all similar structures of the region. All were built in proximity to an inland body of water, generally at the elevation, and all feature an overlook of similar construction, extending from the main structure and pointed toward an ephemeral body. There's some of interest to us because we have at least some evidence to suggest that the temple was built with the specific purpose of performing whatever unique machinations depicted the disaster, thus making the construction an overlook. Something of a confession. In the temple's original purpose was not the practice of the local religion, then the overlook would be superfluous. It's possible that some of the temple's residents maintained the old belief and therefore necessitated the overlook construction, which opens the possibility that the temple's purpose may not be entirely religious one after all. It also has been suggested it was merely a prop, a visual misdirection, intendedly convince locals from a distance that on top lake hillside was normal, that nothing in town was being conducted. Some will find this possibility to be somewhat cynical, but it cannot be ruled out. Okay. Like, look, tell me, would you read like all this what I just have read here? We. Is this just a walker simulator game? I think I have to leave it here because I thought these were short order games. And I don't actually like. I like it looks to me like a walking simulator and such stuff. With like a world building thing. I mean, like not everybody does this much to world building, but like let's be real. Like I said, let's be real. Like how many of you would read all of that? Like if you read, like if you got every text that I got, how many of you will read that? Like all the text, not like one, not two. No, I want to know if you read all of them because I'm pretty sure 90% of you, like I'm pretty sure 90% of gamers wouldn't read the first text that I got because of the amount of text that you get. I have been once when I was in my MBO school that like at my first internship I was like an internship at like an how do you call that? I forgot how you call that, but like it was not really an IT internship, but like a design one because it was like a company that prints stuff. I forgot the name for it, but it was like a company that prints stuff. So you know, and there were also design internships. And one day, like I had like a colleague internship from a design school in Utrecht. And she got her teacher over the floor. And I was like working on my click game because it's like our first year end projects. We made like a click game in a template engine. And I had not much to do. So I was like developing that click game further. And he looked at my click game and he told me something that like always stands by with me. He was like, Elise, back then I was still my old name, but he was like pointing that like people will only read the first 100 characters of any text you give them. Be it in a game, be it on a website and that sort of stuff. And such thing. And he said that was just honesty. To keep it in mind. I want to see what's down here. And honesty with in mind. And such stuff. So yeah, it's something that stayed with me. I don't know if it's like true. I don't know if people would read like the first 100 characters at all. But yeah, take this game for example. If you get these texts, would you read anything now? Large part of the certain stones on the shore, at the bottom of the step of northwest completely in everything about them odds to the rest of the structure and with the religion itself. There are material that clues identification which cannot be located anywhere else on the peninsula. The arrangements and indeed are very prestigious, a kind of cyclical purpose, and will likely be considered pragmatic. Possibly even inheritable with like this is what I mean. Fuck. This is. And there is once again, like the text above that green light, I can barely read that. The arrangement is indeed the very personal suggest a kind of dense purpose that will likely be considered pragmatic, possibly even archaic, which context tampers with the dominant religion of the time authority yet. So obviously close to the temple have been kept hidden. The glances arcades lining the stone steps which led to the shore are found to have been constructed after the temple itself. But the Carnes, Thieves, Erato, impossible to date, actually are highly presumed to have been there for much longer, suggesting the deliberate acknowledgement of the cards in the arches. Commonly are highly pretend to have been there for much longer. Construction final prior examination teams have found traces of a kind of energetic charge in the air around the cards, not radioactive, yet with a several half-life to radiation and distance from both the fallout of the disaster and the radiation found in the soil of the plot, just north of the main structure. The justice seems to observe the corners have little to do directly with the catastrophe. Both their purpose and their extent remains something of a fascination to us. Examination teams are encouraged to check surrounding area, but are cautioned against proximity. Many examiners who remain in the corners immediately present for more than several minutes began experiencing symptoms similar to a combination of radiation potion and an etheric pledge, with at least one case resulting in that. I think this is it. I think I've seen everything. Like, I think I've seen everything of the structure and the lore. Like, I do like I said, I do like the fact that you try to like explain way more by these mini cutscenes. But that is also my pain point of the game. Like, I do like it's a walking simulator, and like I am like a fan of like how you call this again, abandoned stuff. It is clear that like something happened regarding radiation, probably like a nuclear explosion in a nuclear reactor below the complex, and that it's now abandoned, and you are here actually to research it and such stuff. I'm not gonna read this. That you are here to research it, and I do like this. Like, I have had games where like I had no clue what was happening because the story was either told wrongly or not. But this is also what I hate because of two reasons. And the first is this is way too much text. As I told you, like I'm betting you like 99% will never read this. No, missing the story of the game. I tried to read it, but I'm not gonna read this one. You can read it for yourself. Like 99% is not gonna read this, I'm telling you. Look at the comments down below. And the second thing is, you know, great that you use the same standard size. You know, consistency is good. Same font, same color, same size. But if you're gonna use a light font, a light colored font like white, and you're gonna put it on a light colored background, I have shown you several times during this game that like that's not gonna work. Makes the text unreadable and missing the thing. Combine it with the amount of big text. But that was the game. I had to go examination complete. No significant new findings. Oh wait, that was not the game. But yeah, like I like the game. I like the abandonment stuff, but yeah, that's just too much text. Wait, this is not the way of like the wall. There's just too much text. My opinion. And combine that on a white background. Like, combine it on light backgrounds and I think you get like a problem. Like, I'm curious, like how many of you read the text that I read? Because I know that I sometimes not pronounce stuff correctly. Or that I talk too quick. So, but a great first game, 30 minutes. I legit thought all three were short games. Yeah, overall fun game, but like the text is the problem. So let's head out to game number 2. The earth churned and the house is what came out of it. Gruesome little clusters of vendors are spiraling, grab walls and windows. The earth kept rising like a tick falling with blood. Drank from the earth and all around it, that way laid claim. Also feed the house up atop of that hill like a queen on a throne. Surveying. Okay. Bedrooms and drawing rooms are halls and attics. Kitchens and bathrooms and nurseries. All dark, all quiet. Only some of those windows let any light in. But there was only one basement. And it was where she lived. The matriarch. Screeching red green cluster of veins and connective tissues and grinning. Garnishing mouths. Welcome, by the way, to Lethargy Hill. Our second game, Lethargy Hill. And another one with like a big interesting story. And no, it's not me liking that this is how the game runs. There should be more here. Okay. Now is that she couldn't see, she couldn't find them through, no one walking through them, all that emptiness, like a ringing in her ears. But visitors, or is that clone knocking down the door and she have to make some? Is this just a way to tell a story? She need a husband. Yeah, that would be nice. A man of the house to shuffle around those hallways at night. Making sure doors were kept locked, scrapping his feet along the carpet and sobbing gently into the silence. Husband things. Now, you know, I don't think I qualify as husband, you know, but so be it. So she concentrated through her, snapped off a few pieces of herself to go into a little drone so that she could get to work. The run spread out into the forest. Her hands and her eyes. What do I need to make a husband? She thought to herself. There were a lot of trees all around, just doing nothing. So the drones gathered up a great many twigs and sticks and fallen branches. Had all those plants. She could use the hair from the bodies of the people who got sick whenever they came to explore the woods. Tie the sticks together, give her husband a handsome cough, 2 long arms, 2 long legs, a long body, and a long head, all held together with the hair and glue of an old room. The drones could eat the rest, they earned it. Are they all like walking games with like long stories? So soon she had a husband. He was just how she wanted it, miling through the halls. And click his twiggy hands against the walls. And doors and windows, dragging his feet and giving sweet little whimpering cries. It was nice not to be alone anymore, still. It was enough, she didn't want to be a couple. She wanted a family. With that I can help. Her sister would be nice, she thought. Someone to scream at her. Someone who would come and go and keep an eye on her house from afar. What were sisters made of? Anyway, plan my dreams. Arms hurt. She has been feeling not too far from the drones to reach, full of bodies, full of ghosts buried and trapped, in their bodies screaming and screaming. Okay. Here defines the something. Okay. What's the point of this? What's the point of this? Here the plot is to make plot moving around through them feeds the wall. Unlike the whole big man, she was kind of like a woman, good enough sister, she thought. She'll shriek and make my life worse. Press her face against the windows and fill my rooms with jealous looks. She now had a husband to keep her company. And a sister. House is sealed forever. There's a point in family if you don't have any kids. You should have two, she thought, a son and a daughter. They love each other and hated her. Well, I can help you with that. My blood feels it dull and key. Bring life, emotions and sound, filling up the walls with shivering warm noises and trying to dig out each other's eyes. House is sealed forever. It was never barely open at all. Her son will be an inside relative, like her husband. Her daughter will be an outside relative, like her sister. It was easy enough to make her son boys are simple and sweet. She brought the drones home and used their teeth to bite herself up, sucking up her own blood and spitting it all together in a pool. Her son rose up out of it, made of it, and got right to work, running amok all through the to the lower floor, staining the carpet and leaving smears on the walls. A daughter would be more complicated, she told herself. Daughters always are, so she needs to be made of complicated things. The spiders of the woods had their own hierarchy, ages old and complex and anything. And they had 8 legs. My veins missed the old poison. Okay, look. If you're gonna put like something in my screen, stop this text then. And the second thing is, there's kind of a lot of text. Then the rain and spiders felt blood bit up the drones till they were nice and swollen. Even though a few of them apart, but once the drone grabbed the queen by the throat and squeezed her until she burst it was all over. The drones dragged the spider together. And the spider was more too defeated to care. They mashed up, squished them together. Broken enough that they stick, but whole enough that they... Plenty of legs and mandibles, eyes sticking out all over. I have such a lovely daughter, she thought, with pride. The daughter wasted no time vomiting webs all over the place. Some night, the daughter and the sister would meet, conspiring about how to kill her. It was wonderful, she thought. Just how it should be. Now I hope my sister doesn't want to kill me. And my daughter. Like, I hope that doesn't happen. I know she won't. Time passed like it's more want to do. For a while she was happy, but not for long. I used to burn 1 potion at a time. Also was escape away through the same halls, the same order, whimpering the same places, sketching the same walls with the same clusters of sharp wooden twigs. Don't you ever do anything interesting? She shouted. And he tripped and lay still for a long time. You know, the funny thing is, as she always says when I'm like pregnant, like with a belly this big, she's just always like, ah, you're cuckoo crazy, stab. So technically she wants to kill me, but... that comes on them down here, you fall apart. Now we're gonna run into the problem. That like you have like a red sky and an orange text. You have to like I don't know it's an indie game and I know it's not a AAA game, but you don't tell me people play their own games, you know, that they make, and you know they go like, you know, now I'm in the sky, I turn the sky red, and after turning the sky red, I have orange text on the sky red. You know, that is still not, it's barely readable, so... And this, I just supposed to read this. The daughter loved the sister, they had so much in common after all, they were both made of dead things. They were both locked out, they made her angry. You're supposed to make my daughter hate me, she thought. But instead you made her love you. And that's a whole different story. They went everywhere together. The daughter with her hundreds of slowly grasping spider legs. The sister with her ghostly socket always weeping pale through it. I'll make you pay for this. She took solace in her son, the only one that truly loved her. That did anything right. But he was fast congealing, and each inch of carpet he dragged himself across or wallpaper he tripped and fell into and took a little bit of him away. She didn't want to lose him like that, and so she made him come back to the basement. He tripped and fell down the stairs, splattered apart. And then just like he started, a pool of her blood. I'll miss you, she thought. Roland think chains only own those ham tent. And this is also what I mean. And I ended up just like he started. Like that's also what I mean. Like I know, okay, maybe all of these games are like story-based games. You know, it's just walking simulators. But first thing first, if you put something in my face and you put text on the screen, why is that text going you put things in my face and don't give me the time to read it? Because I am like feeling like I know I'm not reading everything, but I feel like I'm missing parts of the story because A, you put something in my face, you know, that black screen with the red text, that is already very readable. But when you put that in my face, the orange text behind it keeps going, and because the orange text disappears after the thing, after it's fully rendered, you know, as the one verse is fully rendered and goes, you don't get the time to read it. And since you don't get the time to read it, you miss part of the story, which makes this story a bit incomplete and such stuff, which takes away from the game. So, because to my feeling, this is a walking simulator. I think. Also with like story aspects. Like, but like this. Let's see, her daughter was that was the last thing on the screen, eh? Oh, hi. Said uses it or not, you know, that the system was that the drugs pulled her apart little by little. Separating out of the slick, jingling little corpses she was like made of. She didn't fight, didn't even bother to say goodbye. And grateful, she thought. But she'd never have a daughter to begin with. The spiders were gathered up beside the corpse of their queen and buried. The drones didn't bother leaving a mark on the grave. What is in the... So she was alone again. Just her. And a side new garnishing teeth. Alone in that house. In that basement. The drones built monuments over the corpses of her family. Where she slept, she passed the time. Oh. Locked herself, making a drone shoe of parts of her. Trying to build a house to shake apart. It never did. No matter how much she pulled at the walls, she felt very empty. I hope someone visits me soon, she thought. Bleeding time, blah blah blah. Someone I don't know, someone I didn't make, that'd be a surprise. She opened a little pet in the woods near the house and waited. As long as they don't talk to my dead family. I'm sure they'll come visit me. I'll invite them in and let them go and see me. And then I'll have the drones chew off all of their skin. And I won't be alone anymore. I won't be alone anymore when they come visit me. And I've let them in and they've come to see me. And I've chewed up all their skin. I won't be alone anymore. It will be so nice not to be alone. I won't be alone anymore. I won't be alone anymore. I hope someone visits me soon. I won't be alone anymore. I'm trying to like find the entry. I'm trying to find the entry. I have to do. I can't read that above. This game is shorter, because it was maybe less exploring, but I still stand by the fact what I said. This game also suffers from 2 to 3 things. You know, that it's a walking simulator with a story, fine. I don't think that's like a bad thing. Like, I think it's fine that like it's a walking simulator where you just walk around the circles and hear the story. That's fine. The first thing that bothers me is the fact that like you put things in my face. While you put things in my face, the story continues. Giving me no chance to read it, or missing parts because I don't get the chance to read it. And because of that, I'll miss part of the game, because it is a walking simulator with a story-based element. But since you put things in my face, I can't read the story, and since I can't read the story, I miss the game, basically. A second that. Because I'm like, besides the story of like loneliness and that sort of stuff, and that she made a family, a husband, you know, that she made everything up and temporary friends and such stuff. Okay, I think that's like thing, but like what happened, that she killed her family, did they fall apart? Mm. And the second thing is, I don't believe like I don't believe that you don't like make a game and play it for yourself, even if it's to like optimize it maybe or to test it and bug test it, because nobody is gonna come to me and say like, Elise, I have orange text on a red background. You know, I made a horror game, and at a point I made the sky red, and I have an orange story text that keeps walking over, and it's also gonna be in the red story. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Red and orange don't go well together. Such stuff. Well, yeah, I think primarily that the problem is like that you put things in my face of like, and that's my third thing, but like I think that's a minor thing. Like those red text on those cards that you put in my face, that wasn't that wasn't readable. Like I think 90% of it wasn't readable, and I read only 10%. And the second thing with it is like, if you put things in my face, stop the story, make it pause, continue it if you don't put the thing in my face anymore, because yeah, the, yeah. That was game number 2. Let's head out to game number 3. Why do you have such loud music? Welcome to Tenement. I have no idea what this game is about, but it looks like another walking simulator, I guess. Oh, I thought I died. At least the music stopped. I hope this is not like another story game like the previous two, but So I'm back. On the seat. Like... The fuck am I hearing? Why is it so loud? Also, I have to tell, like... What the fuck am I hearing? Hold on, I'm gonna do this for you guys and girls. It stays loud for me, but like for you, I'll put the sound of the game down. But oh yay! The come from sorry we built a personalized squeeze because I don't the rest of it. But also I was going to ask if I had any basements where I come from, mainly like the town or the city. Basements fascinate me, I like the ocean, you know, so depthless and unfathomable. Then you're just right there under our feet going down, who knows so far. I don't know anyone can walk past one of the stairs without being just absolutely desperate to go down. And I see where it leads, it's just extremely the one okay. Okay, like okay, you can tell me. You can tell me that somebody doesn't test this game, sees this, and be like, you know, yeah, great. You know, there's no need to put a pause button on. People read really, really fast nowadays, you know, and such stuff. Yeah, you can reread it, but still. You don't tell me that somebody replays this game and be like, okay, you know, I have an NPC here, like it's a Preggo, you know, it's Preggo Elise, she's an NPC here, she's gonna have like this amount of story, like this amount of story, and people have to read really, really, really fast. But these noises are also so annoying, yeah? Like, why is it like, why do I hear like a car reading? Like, did this guy or girl, when they made the game, just put like right next to a car and be like, "Ha, that sounds like a good SFX. You know, that sounds like a good sound effect that I can put in my game," and that people will totally not get like criticizing more than liking the games. But like, I think like I'm gonna be honest. I think out of like the 4 games that were in that list, I think I was really lucky with like the random number generator. And it gave me like Grandma's Garden, because I think Grandma's Garden out of all of this is the best one. So like, I think Grandma's Garden at least is the better one out of this. I don't. Yeah, you have also such a long text. My head hurt. It must have fallen. I feel split apart. My shoulders feel soft. Go get a towel from the hall closet so I can clean myself off. God, there's blood everywhere. Must have fallen on. She pushed me. I bet that was happened. She just like that, the little Harold. Help me back into bed. Never mind. Don't clean it. Just leave it. The floor will drain. Just get me back into bed. Point me towards the window and I want to watch sunset behind the tower. The view used to be so much clearer when I was young. You wouldn't understand. It's the only world you know. But when I was younger, yeah. You again. Yeah, I'm not gonna even attempt to read this. If you want to, you can pause the videos. Okay, now it's red. And the sound effect changed to like... to like a wind blowing or something. Yeah, like, I still legit think that, like, out of all the games that I played yesterday, like last week, out of the 4 games that I could have chosen, like, or that, like, Grandma's Garden is a random number generator, I think was the better one. Like, it was also a walking simulator, but, like, Grandma's Garden was, like, you know, you do something for Grandma, like you shuffle, you know, you get a shuffle, you dig something, you die. You know, you go to Grandma, Grandma wants you to dig for something, and that sort of stuff. Like, you know, like Grandma's Garden was at least like, you talk to Grandma, Grandma wants you to dig somewhere, you get a shovel from the shelf, you go digging, and you die. Like, there's not this. And the other two, were primarily also structured of this. So, like, you tell me, like I said in game number 1, you tell me, you see this, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna read all of that. I'm gonna read all of that. If you're somebody who reads all of this, I bow my head before you, because but like, at least in game number 1, you could take the time to read all those texts. In this game, you have to click like multiple times on the character, and that is also a thing which I just is also like noticeable. You know, like, nothing happens after the text is gone. You have to press on escape, and if you don't know that, then you're stuck. And such stuff. Why does it ask me to escape? Can't I escape the city? And such. So, yeah. But like, you don't tell me there are people like actually who read this. Like, that is also confusing for the user. At least tell the user, you know, Like, at least tell the user that they have to, like, press escape to, like, exit the NPC. Like, at least tell the user. Now you're just, like, making the user guess. It's normal again. Well, that guy's not present there. Also, because it was nighttime, that... And the sound is back to being loud. Well, in doubt, jump down. You know, in doubt, jump down. But like, this is also a game where I say, like, maybe it doesn't have an objective. You know, maybe it doesn't have one, but like... I don't think it has an objective. Okay. I don't care if that's an objective, or if it has an objective, it's like not really clear on what set objective is. You know? And I know I'm not reading the NPCs, maybe the NPCs have a clear objective, but... See, now it's night again. So I'm progressing somehow. I like legit, like I thought legit when I was like playing Grandma's Garden last week that this was a good idea. There's so much wrong with these games, eh? Like I think this is a good example of what like why an objective marker sometimes would help. Or at least an objective telling what to do. Because now I'm just guessing. And it's a rat again. Yeah, great. I'm going down again. Bye. Like, I've not been interacting with the game, but like, would you blame me? If I have to if I have to press on an NPC 30 times to read their whole story, which is like 10 pages long, or it feels like 10 pages long, then I'm not gonna read it. Because I bet of you, like, none of you will read it. Because be honest with me. And I know how hard it is to like make a good story at least, but like, I think if you just put a pause on it, you know, you just presented a lot like lap of text, you know, lap of text, but put a pause on it, that I will be more willing to read it. Because the thing is, like now the text comes through the screen, doesn't slow down, and you know goes off screen without a chance for you to read it completely, which forces you to interact with the same NPC multiple times, which is stupid. I've already reached you. And such. But yeah, I'm not gonna attempt to read if I have to interact with the same NPC to read it 2 to 3 times. If you get me. Because that's like unnecessary time. Like if you put a pause on it, like a pause on the NPC dialogue, and just let me scroll through it, like it's like a page, you know, like it's a website or something, like a website page. Then I think I will be like, then I will be thinking a little bit more able to read it. And now it's normal color again. I think there is no end to this. I think there is also no objective to this. So, like, I legit think there's no objective to this. Because how much have I been going through the sewers again? Like how much? Wait, this is different. This is different. Ugh. Sorry, apologies for the yawning. Like, but on the other hand, like, this might be different now, but I have no clue if I'm progressing the game. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I have no clue if I'm progressing the game. No clue at all. No clue at all. Okay, like, and the third thing, like, this ambient, some of these ambient sounds are way loud. Way too loud. I've, like, tried to turn noise down for you guys and girls, but, like... Imagine. Like, this is new. Normally it turns red. Like, normally it turns red. Hey, look, it's day again. Anything changed? No, that guy is there again. Yeah, I legit think there's no ending to this. I think just like this walking simulator is just like, hey, you can reset the day cycle by going through the sewers, by jumping down the map, which is an interesting concept. You know, it's an interesting concept, and I bet there's lore in the thing that makes this more interesting, this whole story. But like, yeah, I refuse to read it. Sorry. Because like I said, the thing is, if you give me a lap of like a wall of text on an NPC, hey, you're new. But like, that's the thing. Like, if you give me a character with like a wall of text that isn't like such a like a web page that like is paused and that I can read on my own pace, then yeah, you're different. No, you're the same. Never mind. Then yeah, I wanna be content to read it. Because if I have to interact with the same character to read a story multiple times, then yeah. And I think that's the main problem with this game. And such stuff. And I think the second main problem is an objective guide, if there is any. Because like, it is clear that you can progress time in the game by going down the sewers, which is interesting. But like, is there like a main goal to this game? Like, I think there's a main goal to this game, is there? Because you keep going down and up, down and up, down and up just to talk to NPCs. Enough of all text. So... yeah, I think there is no ending to this. I'm gonna leave it here, because if there is something to it, then I'm probably not seeing it or not getting it. So... like, then I'm probably not seeing it or not getting it and that sort of stuff. So, yeah. If you wanna play it and maybe find something I wouldn't have thought, then go ahead. Link is at the bottom, link at the top of the video description down below. Let me properly name. If you want to play Tenement, like, link is at the top of the video description down below, at least to the page where all the other games were. But like, I legit thought last week when I saw like this 4-game collection that the other 3 would be really interesting too to play. But I'm not gonna lie, I think I might regret that decision. But it also shows the nature of these kind of games, where sometimes you find real gems like, you know, Amanda the Adventurer. And other times you find stuff like this and you be questioning what you're playing for like 20 minutes long. But yeah, I think this game suffers from 3 things. The main thing is like, first things first, I have to admit, like, you know, jumping down into the sewers, resetting time, is like actually an interesting concept. I legit thought the first time I jumped down the sewers that I died and such stuff, which is interesting because like a lot of people tend to like go off the map, explore and that sort of stuff. So, yeah. So I thought that and such stuff. But to like show a sewers is completely red, change the vibe and make it more red, you know. That is interesting and it's something I love. Just as being pregnant. Such. But I think the game also just like suffers from way too many things that like the other 2 did. Like, first and foremost, as I already stated multiple times, I think the main gimmick of this game is also walking simulator and, you know, talking to NPCs and hearing a lot of stories. But I think if they all made by the same developer, because I'm not sure if they are, then, but like, you see the same like thing, but yeah, I think they're all made by the same game, same developer, and such stuff. But like, this game also suffers from the same problem as a game number 1. But what game number 1 did better, game number 1 did give you like a wall of text, but it let you read on your own pace. So you could read bit by bit by bit by bit, you know. And even if it wasn't like a changeable background, like a light background, You can still read it on your own pace. This game gives you a lap of text, you know, gives you just a wall of text, and says like you have 2 seconds to read it. If you don't read it within 2 seconds, click on the NPC again. You get what I mean? There's so much text that you get from an NPC that I tell you that like no human would ever read it within one time without reading it too quick. And if you ask, like, I bet if you ask that person of what the NPC said, that they will forget stuff. And so that's my first problem with it. Just like instead of like letting the text slide up, pause it, make it like a web page where you can scroll through it, so that I can read it on my own pace, which is way better and makes me want to interact more with NPCs. Because I am being honest, like if I see an NPC that has like a wall of text and I have to click 2 or 3 times on that same NPC, you know, to read their story, which is already longer than most NPC stories, then I'm not gonna click on another NPC, because if another NPC has to do that, yeah, so be it. But that's me personally. But like, there is a reason why most video games have like this amount of text, but divided over multiple dialogue boxes, eh? Like, so the first 2 things, and it'd be like yes or no, you know, and then the second 10 lines. There is a reason why. That's also probably why that like design teacher said like, you know, everybody just reads one of their characters and not after that. But yeah, there is a reason why not games don't do that much dialogue in one go. And the second thing is, which bothered me, and I figured it out on my own, but like, if you put in a lap of text and you let the user read it, and it's like an overlay that you can move anymore from and that sort of stuff, at least tell the user, you know, from hey, press escape to exit talking with the NPC. Because if I talk with an NPC and you don't stop it and you don't tell me, I bet there will be people who get confused and think they're stuck or soft lock themselves and exit the game. And if they see that happen again, they're not gonna like your game and that sort of stuff. So it's like an honest opinion for me to you, instead of like, you know, just tell the people like, hey, press escape. I figured it out on my own, but like I can understand that people will be like, think they're soft locked and such stuff, and exit the game and never play that again. And the third thing, I don't think like it's that much of a problem seeing how there is no objective, but like I think this game would at least benefit if there is an objective and an ending from like an objective guider, like, you know, talk to this NPC or talk to this NPC or jump down 2 times and things. Because there is a clear sign of like, hey, NPCs disappear, NPCs appear, you know, reappear, disappear. Also, several spots. The map changes time, so one time it's dark, one time it's like dark with red lights, sometimes dark wood, sometimes it's like dusk, and such stuff. So there is like clear indication that things change. And if it's only a walking simulator where things change, you know, so be it. But like, I think it's that. But at least tell the people beforehand, like, I think if you need to put on an objective, you know, talk to NPCs, have fun, you know, there's no real objective to this game, then I think that will be okay too. But like, now it feels to me like, am I progressing the game? Is there an ending? Is there? Because I don't think there is. And then if there is, you are up to find it and that sort of stuff, because, yeah, I am surprised. I thought this 3 scary games would be shorter, as I said, but that means more big belly Elise and that sort of stuff as I turned into my 10-week of pregnancy. But yeah, if you want to play any of the game, like if you want to play any of the games that I played today, they will be linked at the top of the video description down below. I'm Preggo, Elise, your pregnant Vtuber, Transgender on the internet, your pregnant goddess of reproduction, your pregnant goddess of fertility. Let me know what you think down below. If you agree with my opinion or not. While you're down there, subscribe and ring the notification bell. That tells me that at least you like the video and you want to see more stuff like this, more 3 scary games. Don't forget to check out the horror game that I uploaded earlier in the morning, which is an Escape the Backrooms. Also, Puppy Playtime will come as stated after Undertale. I will make a post probably about it soon. But do know Puppy Playtime is in recording, Puppy Playtime is in production, and coming after Undertale and that sort of stuff, because I assume that Escape the Backrooms will take to August and that sort of stuff, so that will be too long. Yeah, I'm Elise, je pregnant Vtuber Transgender. I primarily focus on project van horror content on my channel, so if you want to see more horror playlists, make sure to check the icon in the top left. I also focus on a lot of Let's Plays like We Happy Few, Shadows Overloading, Binding of Isaac, Call of Duty Veteran Campaign Series, and Call of Duty Zombies. So if you like stuff like that, make sure to check my channel out. If you want to join my Discord, link is in the link tree at the bottom of this video description. In there, you'll also find my Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. In case you don't use Discord and that sort of stuff, which I highly understand at this point. My Twitch channel and Voice channel are also there in case you want to see how stream goes from time to time. Because as you see with the Undertale 2 Pacifist run, I do record from time to time on Twitch. It's beneficial for me, at least, and that sort of stuff. My Ko-fi and Patreon are also there if you want to support me a little bit more. The best place to stay up to date is my Discord, but I also try to respond to every YouTube comment. And with that, I want to say, if you want to play any games that you have played today, they will be linked at the top of the video description down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. My socials will be at the bottom in the link tree. I'm Preggo, Elise, pregnant, Vtuber, Transgender on the internet, and I'll see you in the next 3 scary games. Until then, bye. Bye.